What's up, Boogie Monsters? Welcome to Remember When, where I, Chris Boogie, reconnect with a guest and we revisit, dissect, and laugh about a time, place, or insane experience we shared together. I'm your host, Chris Boogie. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, at Chris Boogie with a Y, and on YouTube, at Chris Boogie Marcos. Today, I have Jaylen Baham. Jaylen is a musical theater artist, content creator based in Rancho Cucamonga. He is super excited to be chatting with his buddy Boogie to take a trip down memory lane. In the Heights is one of his favorite musicals, and he can't wait to give you guys more insight on his time in El Barrio. Jaylen, what is up?
What's up, Boogie?
Dude, it's so good to see
your face.
Gosh, dude, I need more of you in my life because
I know.
you're
This
just
is not enough.
It's not, man. You're
Oh.
just such a light, man. You're such a
Oh.
light. But let's get into this.
All right.
How do we know each other?
Well, interesting enough, I met you the first time I did In Heights because we've done it twice together. But the first time you were pulled into our show like a crazy person less than a week before we opened and were somehow perfect in every way. And I was like, who is this guy? Right after you just came from performing at the Oscars or the Grammys. And I was like, who is this guy? But I remember just you being the absolute sweetest, the most welcoming, literally the most genuine guy. And then I ran into you again at In the Heights the second time. I was like, it's fate. We get to do the show again. And it was wonderful.
Dude, absolutely. I remember seeing you at the the callbacks of the second In the Heights, and I was
Mhm.
like, oh, like this is my family's here. Like, you might as well give him the part. Like, he's here. Everyone else
You
go
know,
home.
that's what I felt too. I got so happy when I saw you. I was like, if this works out the way I think it will, then this is might go down as one of the best shows that I've ever done. And I was right.
Absolutely, dude. So we're gonna talk about the In the Heights at the California Theater because we
Okay.
were Usnavi Benny. We're the
Uh-huh.
boys and boys.
Yes. Yes.
So for that show, what was your initial audition like?
So I auditioned with Benny's um, solo from When You're Home. And I was kind of going back and forth because you know how they say at auditions, don't sing from the show unless it's specified. But the director for this one said he wanted people to do it. And I was like, hey, if I can do it, let's do it. And honestly, I was super solid about it. I thought it was funny because the Selena who played Nina, we never read together once at callbacks. And then we got cast together. So that was just kind of perfect the way that worked out. And I had a really good audition experience. Did you go to the first auditions or did you only go to the callback?
I ended up having to send a tape because
Okay.
I don't remember what I was working on at the time, but I remember I couldn't make the initial audition, so I sent a tape
Okay.
to Cameron, and then I came for the callbacks.
Got it.
So what was your callback experience like? Because that was like an insane
Yeah,
night.
that was a long night. And the thing that was tripping me up the most was the dancing because the dance call was so hard. At least for me. It was probably so easy for you. I just look at you dance and I'm like, how? But for me, dancing's not really my strong suit. Like I would classify myself as like actor, singer, dancer, kinda. Um, but that was the part that was tripping up the most. And I remember we were all struggling at that dance call too. Like it was hard choreo. Um, I don't remember. Did I sing again? I don't even think I sang again, or I didn't even read from the script either. I think they just kind of knew. I gave them a little bit of When You're Home, so I think I kind of sold it with that, if I do say so myself.
That's so cool. Like, so talk a little bit about so after you booked the role, I mean, you were in the ensemble in the first In the Heights you did, and then to
Hmm.
move up to Benny, like a
Hmm.
huge role. Like, what was that like?
Yeah. Honestly, I am so grateful that I was able to do In the Heights of the Ensemble the first time because that show ended up being one of the most rewarding theatrical experiences I've ever done. Just with like the director getting to work with Benny Perez and getting to work with Marissa as a choreographer. Like it was just a cast full of stars, and I was so happy to be in the ensemble. And that was that was my first introduction in the Heights. Like I don't know if I told you this, but when I auditioned for that, I had no idea what In the Heights was at all. I knew nothing about it. And I went in and I was like, oh, the guy who did Hamilton did this musical. I was like, this is cool. So I went in and I auditioned and I listened to the soundtrack the night after I auditioned and I was just floored. And then I remember I was listening to it and I love Chris Jackson and I loved Benny. And then I was like, I have to play this role one day. And then I saw they were doing it again and I was like, this might be my chance, you know. I was a little young the first time. That's what they told me. I was a little young and I think I grew into myself a little bit more and I my time came and I'm so glad that I got to do it. And with you, it was just perfect. Like literally perfect.
So what was your initial reaction when that cast list came out and you saw
Oh
your
my.
name under Benny?
I think the cast list came out kind of soon after that night. We didn't have to wait that long, thank God. But I was in shock one because I didn't realize how vocally demanding Benny was gonna be. That was the thing that was kind of a shock to me because Benny sings a lot in that show, and that kind of caught me off guard. But I just remember being like, this is a role that I have always wanted to play, and I perfect timing because the movie was about to come out too, and I was like, no one's gonna do it for a while, so this is my moment, and I was so excited, so excited.
Yeah, I remember the first In the Heights because I came in late. I didn't really hear you sing. Like I there was never a point where I was next to you in the show
Uh
or
huh.
anything like that. So I never heard
Yeah.
you actually sing. But I think the break in between there, I saw your Instagram post and you just belting your face off and going all crazy, and I was like, okay. So then when I saw you at the callbacks, I'm like, well, there's your Benny. And then the cast list came out. And I'm like, duh, I called it.
And then I saw Selena and Christina and Eileen. I was like, we this is a stacked cast. So we really had it good.
Absolutely, dude. Like, oh gosh, but I didn't like. I knew you. I knew Eileen. I didn't know Selena. I didn't know Christina. But man, do those two have a reputation? Like everyone
I
I
know.
asked about them, they're like, bro, y'all show is gonna be so good.
And it was. I wish we had more than one day. That's the only one regret I wish. I wish we had more than one day. But
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
grateful. I'm grateful that we got to do it considering how soon before it was COVID. Like imagine if it had been a month later. I don't know what we would have done if we didn't get the chance to perform it. So I'm so grateful that we did.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
So, what was your first impression of the cast? I know when we did it at there's so much comparison here, but when we
Yeah,
did
yeah.
it when we did it in Rancho,
Uh-huh.
our cast was a little more seasoned.
Mhm.
But when we did it at California, we had a lot of young cast, but
Mhm.
fierce, super like hungry. Well, did you know like most of the people there?
I knew most of the I knew like Selena and I didn't know Christina personally, but I had seen her in a million shows and I was secretly obsessed with her, but I didn't want to come off as too much of a fan, you know. As most people are with Christina. But I was just I was blown away by a lot of the ensemble because one thing that they picked up the dancing so fast, which I was so surprised because like I said the dancing was really hard. But yeah, it's kind of hard to compare that the show we did the second time to the first because it was two completely different experiences. Especially since you came in so late in the game, I feel like you were thrown into this madness that we had already created, and you just made it your own, and you came in and killed it in the show. And I still think about that Boogie, and I'm like, how did you do it? Like
Oh
how?
God, dude, we can have a whole separate episode about that. But I know, like, to keep it short, I know I put it out like I knew what I was doing, but I was scared shitless during that whole thing. Had
I
not like,
remember
man,
I remember you came up to me. This was before we were even close or anything, but you came up to me and I don't even remember what song it was, but you were like, if I'm in the wrong spot, just push me. You're like, push me there and I will figure it out. And I was like, okay. You're like, just if you see me somewhere I'm not supposed to be, just give me a nudge, dance over to me and push me. And I was like, okay, I got you. I can do that. But you didn't need my help.
yeah, yeah, whatever. So, what was your rehearsal process like? I know it's different for everyone.
Hmm.
But what was it like for you? Was it stressful, fun, exciting? Like any kind of part of that?
It was pretty. I think I was stressed out in the beginning because, like I said, Benny was really vocally demanding, and I think I had to build up that stamina of singing a lot of those songs. Like, I mean, Chris Jackson just wills his face off and makes it look so easy, and then, man, some of those songs are pretty tough. Like, I had to get that in my body, and then on top of the dancing, like I said, that was kind of new to me. I feel like I'm kind of awkward in my own body sometimes, so I had to get used to being Mr. Benny, who was like suave, and I'm just not that like at all. So it was kind of stressful in the beginning, but once I think we came into one as a cast and we got our chemistry, like our group chemistry set, became so much easier. Like it really did feel like a home and like we were a family up there. It really did, and that helped out a lot with the stress.
And I think a lot of that is toked up to you ended up being like a huge voice in our cast and really pointed us in the right direction a lot of the times, like during the rehearsal process. Did you purposely like fall into one of the leadership roles, or was that something that just came up organically?
I think once I saw how many young kids were in our cast and how many of them looked up to us, I think I have a thing with kids and just young generations. I think that it's so special to see young people in theater and especially doing a piece like In the Heights, which is so geared towards people of color and giving people of color an opportunity. I wanted to remind the young cast how special of a moment that was and how lucky we were to be doing this show at that time with the group of people that we had. And I really think it came organically because I really grew to love all of them. And I knew all of them had a hunger for theater and a passion for the show that, some people, you do a show with people, they're not as passionate about it as you are. And they just kind of see it as a job and they do it and they move on. But everyone who was there really loved that show. And I think that's what made that show special because we all cared for it on a really personal, deep level. Like it meant a lot to all of us as a group, but a lot to all of us personally. And I think that showed through.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the parts of that process that really stuck out in my head when it comes to you is I think a lot of artists when they're on stage or they're in a show they kind of think about themselves a lot, like where am I supposed to go, how am I feeling, what am I going to take away from this. I remember a moment that you circled everyone up and you looked at all of the young cast members and you just said, I am so excited for you guys to do this show. I mean, to be so selfless to your cast, like that, there's nothing a cast can ask for more than a castmate being that selfless.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted them to know how special it was to be doing In the Heights because people who love musical theater, that's not always in their top five favorite shows is In the Heights. And a lot of people won't get the chance to do it. And I just wanted them to know how that it was so special. And man, I miss that show so much.
Okay, we have to talk about the one time during tech, I think, where you, me, and Charlie completely lost it and were very unprofessional. Can you
Yeah.
take us through that moment for a second?
Okay, so if I'm remembering this part correctly, it was right before 96,000, right? When we were laughing. Okay, so Charlie, who is saved in my phone, for you guys that don't know, Charlie played Sonny, and he saved in my phone as my boss because he has a line in the script where he's supposed to say, my boss. And I don't know what it was about that line, but every time he said it, we just lost our minds. And I kid you not, even the day of the show, and I never do this. Like I am so professional. And I just remember thinking every time we would do that scene, I was like, God, please do not break in front of all these people. I can't do this. Like, oh, that was goes down as one of my favorite moments. So that was hilarious.
Yeah, and then the music played the
Oh,
wrong song.
oh yeah, oh yes, I forgot about that. Oh man. I'm so glad that didn't happen during the show.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I was kind of panicked a little bit because it was literally like 2 days before we opened.
Yeah, you're like, this is not what we need right now.
Oh my gosh, it was so funny though. I don't remember like the last time I was so unprofessional and broke characters so hard than that moment. Oh my god, so
Hey,
funny.
you know what? That was very Usnavi, Benny, and Sunny of us, though, if I do say so myself.
It
That's
really
a,
was.
that we were in character, we didn't even know it.
So that was one of my favorite parts of the show, at
Hmm.
least the rehearsal process. What was your favorite part of maybe the show itself or like the whole experience?
I think the part of the show that was my favorite was 96,000 because I remember like after when we did that final like 96,000, like the audience lost their minds. Like I've never felt that much of a roar from a crowd or felt that much energy coming from people, but it was like a moment that I will literally never forget in my life. Especially to perform in the California that was sold out, and that theater is huge. To perform in front of that many people and have them screaming like that, I felt like I was at a concert. It was insane. I think that was probably my favorite moment of the entire show. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, it was so crazy. I mean, they
Insane.
we held our pose for like a good while after.
Yeah, it was.
Just
I felt like it was never gonna end,
I
and
know.
they just kept coming too.
Yeah, it never like died down. Like that's why we couldn't move on with the show is it stayed at that 10 for a
Hmm.
good like at least 2 or
Yeah,
3 minutes. It's
yeah, it was
crazy.
insane. That was definitely my favorite moment, though.
Cool. All right, so what was your not so favorite part?
Hmm. I think my not so favorite part was probably the fact that we only had one day. Like that really kills me. Like I love the California theater and I think it's a beautiful space, but doing the shows for one day, it's like all that work and all of that time we put into creating such a good show and then it's just one day. It just never feels like enough. I think that was the part that killed me the most.
Yeah,
What
that's
was
tough.
your least favorite part of the show?
Uh I mean, that drive was not fun.
Oh
It
yes.
never is that fun.
Yeah.
I don't it's hard because I what am I trying to say? I mean, all shows have frustrations and
Uh-huh.
breaking points. And it's not anyone's fault. It's just the rehearsal process.
Mhm.
Sometimes you have to figure things out, and you ask questions and they don't get answered. And I think some of that kind of happened towards the end.
Mhm.
But I also blame myself a little bit because Cameron, our director, told me really early on. He's like, if you have anything, any insight, any advice, if I'm doing something wrong, if the choreographer is doing something wrong, tell us. You have free
Mhm.
reign to tell us. Me being the actor didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
Um, so I think I could have been a little bit more outspoken towards the beginning, and then maybe we
Mhm.
wouldn't have hit those frustrations.
Yeah.
But that's kind of part of the experience.
Mhm.
I
I get
mean,
that.
go ahead.
That's a hard um line to fall as like an actor and then wanting your director wanting to help or wanting your help because I mean you're like the an expert at In the Heights. You've done it so many times. You've played so many characters. It's like if anyone knew this show, it was definitely you. But I understand, being an actor, you never want to step on people's toes. So I get that. That's hard.
Yeah, I remember a time that I have so many Jalen moments in my head, but I remember one specific time that there was like a borderline frustration, but because it was a Jalen moment, it was kind of funny. Is
Oh
I
no, what did I
remember
do?
you said so we at first we were taught in Washington Heights spin pose. We just did in Washington spin. And then everyone's like, okay. And you said, so what are we doing? With the claps and
I
everything.
remember that. Oh God, I remember that.
I felt
I'm
so bad for laughing, but because I know you were like frustrated, but it just Jaylen, you
some
were
of
so
those
funny, dude.
some of those dancing days were pretty frustrating too. Like especially since a lot of the times we didn't even have everybody there too, so it was always hard to choreograph because I felt like things were constantly changing because people were getting different partners, and then this wouldn't really work, so we would switch to this, and it was so much. It was a lot. There was
Yeah,
a lot
I
of dancing in that show too.
I hate well, I don't hate, but I strongly dislike changes, especially
Hmm.
late in the game. And I think that's why we hit such a frustration point.
Yeah.
But luckily, they figured everything out. Everyone kind of got what they wanted, and no
Hmm.
side had to take a loss or anything. Not that there were sides, but
Hmm.
no one had to take a loss.
Yeah.
So, what do you think, like, you took away from the entire experience?
Mm. I think that uh, out of everything, I came out of that show as just a stronger performer. I grew a lot as an actor. I grew a lot as a singer. I became more solidified in myself as a dancer. I just think I that show really well rounded me and let me know that musical theater was something that I wanted to do. And I mean, a lot of people were really pleased with our show and pleased with our performances, so that makes me feel good. I just really came out of it with a new love for theater, honestly. And it just, which is why it's so hard with everything going on now because I miss it so much. And it's just, I was watching Art in the Heights and I was just getting so emotional watching it through because it was such a magical moment. And I really wish we could relive it.
Yeah, it's totally uh it's fun to look back on everything because we can go back, to January, February to our In the Heights, and we also can go back to our Rancho Cucamonga in the Heights and think
Mm-hmm.
about that experience. And to
Mm-hmm.
go back that far to see the growth that you had from what I knew of you being in the ensemble
Mm-hmm.
to you jumping in front and coming down stage and owning the role of Benny. I mean, it was just, I felt so honored to share that stage with you and to
Oh,
get to sing with you. Every time we got to, like, give each other dabs or just, like, vibe with each other, it was
uh-huh.
just like so much fun. I felt like,
Yeah.
we were brothers, like, on that stage, just giving it our
Truly,
all.
like those were always my favorite moments where we were just being stupid and being goofy, you know? Like the club, one of my favorite scenes because it was just us acting a fool. Like I really did that those were good moments.
Totally, dude. And I just feel so honored to know you now, and I'm so glad that we were able to do In the Heights again and we got closer because I mean you're a light in this world, Jaylen. I say this
Thanks,
to
Chris.
everyone. You are like I was like, watch his YouTube videos, look at him sing, and like
Um,
you're such a light. You bring such positive energy to the world, and I just
thank
wish
you.
I could have you in my pocket.
Well, I'm always a phone call away. If you want to FaceTime me, I'm here. Even if it's for 2 seconds, I'm here.
All right, so we're gonna get into this little section called "Getting to Know You."
Got it.
All right, so most of this is like rapid fire questions, this or that, fill in the blank, short
Okay.
answer. Um, I might judge you on most of these answers. Okay.
Okay. Good to know.
All right, ready?
Yes.
What's on your pizza?
Pepperoni, sausage, and mushroom.
Man, mushroom is really popular lately.
I
Can't
love mushroom.
can't do
No mushroom
fungus.
for you? What?
No, can't do. I don't know.
Mm.
Favorite alcoholic beverage?
Dirty Shirley.
Dirty Shirley.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm not a big alcohol person, but I love me a Dirty Shirley.
Nice.
Yes.
Um, Backstreet Boys are in sync.
In sync
All right, no
all
Backstreet
the
Boy
way.
fans yet.
No.
Uh, Ninja Turtles or Power Rangers?
Power Rangers.
You're showing your age right now, by the way.
Uh-oh.
Something no one knows about you.
Hmm. I'm pretty open about myself. Ooh, I have a deep love for Sarah Paulson, the actress. You know who that is?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, everything she does, I'm just absolutely obsessed with, and I'm realizing that I want to be her. Um, so I've literally during quarantine, I binged every single project that she ever did, and she did Ratchet too, and she's just so good, it blows my mind. So there, my love for Sarah Paulson is now out in the open for everyone to know.
Right on. All right, fill in the blank. I wish
Okay,
I wasn't scared too.
dance.
Which is so surprising, dude, because I watch you dance, you totally get down. I don't know what
I
your issue is.
I think it's because I grew up and my arms were always way too long for my body. Like I feel like my arms grew before every other part of my body. And then I just was so awkward looking and my family and everyone would always pick at how goofy I was all the time, just the way I moved. And I think that just literally burned into my brain that I couldn't dance because I was awkward looking. But I'm telling you, the first time I ever really got comfortable dancing was because of Marissa. And I remember she pulled me aside at one rehearsal and she was like, I don't ever want you to be scared to dance because you're a great dancer. And that just like broke me emotionally because like I don't know how she knew, but she just knew I needed to hear those words and she really got me out of my comfort zone. I love Marissa. I saw you had her on here and I was like, yes.
Yes, that it was Marissa, she is forever my life coach.
I love her. I love that woman.
Mhm. All right. Something you're obsessed with right now.
Um Glee. I'm always obsessed with Glee, but it's pretty bad right now.
Still?
Yeah, I'm rewatching it for like the 175th time. And it's just every time I rewatch it, it gets better and better.
I loved your YouTube video when you ranked all of the Glee cast members.
Oh,
That was so funny.
that was so much drama with everyone. I didn't realize I had so many people disagree with me. I was like, man, it was almost a war.
All right. Something you hate that everyone else loves.
Cats.
You know,
I
I'm in
hate
that same boat, dude. I don't get
I
it.
hate cats. I well, one, I'm definitely allergic to them, but I just think they're weird, creepy animals. And no, I'm a dog person all the way.
Same, same.
Yeah.
Totally allergic.
Hmm.
Not feeling that. I will admit that when you said cats, I thought you meant the musical.
You know that kid falls in that category too.
Yeah, I don't get it. It doesn't.
No.
I tried to watch the movie with my roommates the other night. I
Hmm.
had to take a couple drinks before because there was
Bad.
no way I was going to get through it.
No, it was there were so many choices in that movie. I was like, why? Why did they do that? You know?
Yeah, awful.
Ugh.
Who was your childhood celebrity crush?
Hillary Duff.
That's right. I know that about you.
Yeah.
Good old Lizzie McGuire.
Yeah. Me and Boogie. Me and Charlie bonded over that because he loves Hillary Duff too.
Yeah. When you guys like said that, it was like you guys like became best friends all over again.
Yeah. Yeah. We were like, what? Yeah, it
All
was
right.
incredible.
Favorite TV show growing up besides Glee?
Okay, growing up, it was Barney actually. I love me some Barney.
Same and so educational,
Mm-hmm.
but like borderline scary now that you like look back on it,
Yeah,
but
I look
still
at it
very
now.
educational.
I'm like, Barney when I was a kid, and then I think growing like and like middle school times, it was probably SpongeBob.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. One thing you want to be remembered for.
Um, my kindness. I really try and treat everybody nicely and just give treat everyone with open arms. So I hope if I'm known for anything, people are like, oh, Jaylen, he was so nice. That's one thing I appreciate.
Totally, dude. All right, that's the end of that section. Okay, I didn't judge you too hard. A couple things.
Yeah, just note to self: don't ever put mushrooms on pizza with Boogie.
Yeah, I won't have it.
Okay.
So what's next on the horizon for you? You working on any kind of fun projects?
I've actually been writing a lot, and I'm trying to put together some little short film. Hopefully, when I'm able to produce things safely and I can reach out to all my friends. I'm doing kind of like a little ode to musical theater, but something that's really current and really up my alley. I really like, I don't know, teen drama and teen romance. So I'm kind of going in that direction. So that's one thing that's been cooking while I've been stuck at home writing all day.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
if you want to write in a little Asian character there,
Boogie, I will never write anything that does not have your name for a part, honestly. You're always going to be there.
Dope. All right. Well, we're coming to the end of this episode, but I had a request from our dear Christina. She wants you to do some kind of farewell message to our audience, but you have to do your thing.
My fingers? Okay.
Yeah.
You ready? This is for Christina.
Let her rip.
All right. If you're listening to this or watching this, you need to know that you're beautiful, okay? And I love you so much. And you're going to have a great day. You're going to have a great week. And you're going to have a great month because this year is almost coming to an end. And it's been hard for all of us. But you know what? You're going to come out of it bigger and better and stronger than ever. Okay? Period.
Oh my God. Oh, Jaylen, I love you so much. I miss you,
I love
dude.
you.
Thank you so much for hopping on this this little web podcast
Anytime.
And going back in time with me.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, keep us updated with everything.
Will do.
Definitely. Well, this is Chris Boogie reminding you to lead with your heart and stand on love. Don't forget to follow if you're listening on Spotify or subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And as the late, great Nelson Mandela once said, the greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Deuces.
Bye.